Hello, we're back. It's another Tarot Tuesday, and today I wanted to talk about this beautiful deck that I picked up several months ago. It's called the Angel Tarot by Travis McHenry. I picked it up at, I'm trying to think, I'm pretty sure my metaphysical store. It's called Ritual. And if I didn't get it there, it was at Chapters. So I picked this deck up because I, like many of us, I imagine, was indoctrinated into not just Christianity, but the fundamental Christianity. And through and I was a steadfast Christian for many years, almost 30. And a lot of stuff happened, and I ended up losing my faith, and I don't regret it, but during that time it was extremely difficult. And you're questioning a lot. It's just not about the faith itself, especially if you've made that your major part of your personality for so long, but like, how does the world work? What happens in the afterlife? You have to go through all these things. And I didn't realize the harm Christianity did to me until I I had been at a church for a few years, and you're gonna laugh at me. I was building in a game called Creativerse. It's a lot like Minecraft, but with this one you have like blueprints, and it will like autofill a bunch of the blocks so it's faster. And I was building a cathedral, and I was doing the crosses and stuff, and I was having like panic in my chest. I have a lot of religious trauma, and even as I was going through it, I knew a lot of it was not okay. But how do I explain this? I kept telling myself it's not, you don't judge a person based on the people around them necessarily. Like, just because God's people were doing this does not mean that that's God himself. But I had to get to a point where, if everything around you, what's that saying? If everything around you smells like crap, you're probably the a-hole, right? And I was finding this really common thread of, how do I'm trying to be nice because I don't want to insult any potential witches that happen to also be Christian. But I do want to be upfront and say that I am coming from a place of hurt, you know? So I picked this up as a way of going and wanting to head my hurt on head first. That's how I deal with most of my shadow work. If I have something troubling, I want to just face that, because I did not want to have to look at churches. And I work with the elderly. I'm a personal support worker, and many of my clients, because they're older, are Christian. And the ones in particular that I have happen to be Catholic, and which is fine. That's fine. I don't have much practice with the Catholics. It's more fundamental Baptist and stuff. But they have lots of like Jesus and everything else going on, and so I needed to deal with that. One way I have found healing to deal with trauma is to do it through tarot. So I know that was a lot of explaining. We're 4 minutes in. We haven't even looked at the cards. But that's why I picked this up. So this is the Angel Tarot. Comes in this beautiful box. There is no, like, some decks will have like little tabs so you can easily get it, but I can get this cover off just fine without that. Comes with this ribbon so you can easily pick things up. This is the book. Sorry about the glare. So it's got the card, so you can look at the card and read about it, and then it has some Bible verses, and this is actually part of the reason why I wanted to give a little bit of my background, because I was expecting it just to be tarot, and I felt a small panic when I saw the Bible verses. Sometimes trauma works in very interesting ways, doesn't it? Because there's no reason for me to just read Psalm 131 verse 5, or you know what I mean, like 131 5, and feel fear, panic, have some bad memories, but there it is. So this ribbon, this is how I like to fold it so I can easily get the book out. Now, you probably saw that glint. Okay, so these are the cards. This is the size of a standard tarot card. As you can see, it's exactly the size of a tarot card. Now, for those of us who are not as familiar with the size of tarot, this is a regular playing card. And as you can see, tarot is quite a bit taller and a little bit wider. If you have small hands, this can be a bit of an issue, but I promise you will learn how to shuffle without it. And there are decks that are like minis. So it's the back. It's got these sigils. I assume you can summon with this. I haven't super looked into this deck as much as I would like. It's been pretty busy. It's thick without being too thick, you know, like this is pretty good. It's not as thick as this card. Now this is from the Modern Witch Tarot. These are thick cards, so that's not really a fair comparison. Yeah, they're a lot thicker than a regular playing card. Okay, so let's look. Now, as you can see, look at that. Isn't that just breathtaking? I am a sucker for shiny. I'm like a crow or a magpie. You're going to hear traffic because it is sweltering inside my house and it just rained, so it's actually cooler outside. I opened my window. So, Angel Tarot. Here are the cards. We'll go through them. Now, there's a lot of interesting things about these cards. So, it will tell you what it's supposed to be, the Four of Pentacles. I don't find these cards helpful as tarot. Okay? There's a lot of other stuff going on, though, that you could do different types of reads with. So, Mizrael, God liberating the oppressed, I assume that's the meaning of his name. All angels have, like, most angels have some meaning. Like Michael is warrior of God or something, you know, like it's all about of God, or, and so it's got some things here of what this angel does, and this is his sigil. This is what you would write down to summon him, to work with him. And I'd have to look this one up. So there it is. And it's got a number, and I do not remember what the number is about, but we can look at that in a minute. One thing that I struggle with this deck is, you'll notice as we go through, they're all pretty much black and white with sometimes dashes of red. And that's another reason why I don't recommend reading this as a tarot deck. It's not, like if you work with pip decks, it's probably going to work for you because you're used to not having like the story there. Sometimes you just literally see 4 swords, right? For me, it really helps to have a bit of a story. So 8 of Pentacles, like, because I happen to know a little bit about numerology, and I know a little bit about the pentacles, like how it's associated with earth, what earth means in general, like sturdiness. In tarot, it's about like monetary, like valuables and stuff. So there's that angel. These little symbols are beautiful. Now in here, because my camera can zoom in quite a well, it's pretty easy to read. But in real life, I'm just looking at it, it's quite difficult. You're almost going to need a what are they called? Like a magnifying glass. Now, the cards are in here, as you can see, and the sigil is smaller. I wish that instead of showing the card, maybe the sigil could have been this big. Not, I don't know. Like, if you can summon angels, I'm thinking that maybe you shouldn't. You know, they're supposed to be off doing whatever it is that they do. It seems like you're kind of playing with fire a little bit. I kind of wish, political authority, I kind of wish that these angels looked like angels. Like, they just look like people, right? And I do believe that some angels probably look like people, especially if they're coming down and working with us, right? Like, now, oh yes, before I forget, these cards do stick, so be careful when you're, like, if you get this deck, be careful. Oh. Mayo, patient God. Look at that. Fertility and multiplicity. So you could use these cards, like they will say that you can do, you know, tarot magic. That's not something that I normally do. It's not something I've started, but I think this deck would be absolutely perfect for that, because you're also working with this kind of celestial energy. Expected God. See? So this would be a great deck. This would be a great card to work with if you're trying to purge something, like if you feel like you're under attack. Oh, I love his little, it looks like what the Hierophant uses. Just trying to be careful not to accidentally tear. It's been quite humid here for a little while. Oh, sorry, card. Just making sure I didn't tear the... So my cards are sticking. The God who took... Oh, sorry, God who took evil. These... Oh, look at that. So that's usually the symbol of the hospital or whatever. It's got the snakes and the bird. It looks like it anyway. Longevity. Yes, protects against infirmities. So you would summon this for something like that, right? Protection. Now see, this is a little bit closer, like if you ignore the man, this ring with the wings, that's more close to like a biblical angel. They could have had a lot of fun with this deck, and they kind of chose not to. I'm not trying to be mean, because I do genuinely like this deck. It's just they could have done more. Like, look at this. Now this is a seraphim. They've got all the wings. They're almost covering their face, because that's what the seraphim do. They're supposed to have 6 pairs of wings, and they fly around God and worship him. That's just what they do, because yeah, I won't get into it. I don't want to insult any Christians maybe that are watching this. God's seeing everything. Oh yes, this must be Jacob when he was fighting the angel. Look at the wings. Now this kind of looks like what might be an archangel. It's not. What's great about these cards is they will tell us when we get to the archangels. Cool. He's got a little... See, now this is a Knight of Pentacles. He's got a little, like, a fire. See, that could have been used for wands. go. Oh, look, he's got little hoofs. Or they, I suppose. The angels don't have gender. Okay. There. There is an angel right there. Perfection. The angels, I mean, there's a reason why they tell people to not be afraid when they meet people. They're quite the creatures. Yeah. Angels with 4 heads. Okay. So here's the other thing. This is a Hierophant. This is a Major Arcana. We just finished looking at a bunch of pentacles, and there's nothing in particular that would tell you that this is a Major Arcana and this is a Minor Arcana. Oh. Oh, cute. Not that angels look like that, but very cute. Most people, like, when they think of cherubim, this is what they think of. These cherubim are actually supposed to be quite huge. They're the ones with the 4 heads that we just saw, like the head of a human, a bird, an ox, a lion. I think it's specifically a bird of prey, usually. God, protector and savior. Maybe these are supposed to be the virtues, though. Oh, what's happening here? 9 of Swords. Strength. So, as you're noticing, these are changing too. So, we're going to have to look at the book when we're done, because I do not... There we go. So this is an angel. Rings with eyes. And the rings spin within the rings. And sometimes these guys are on fire. The angel of death is supposed to look like a giant blob with just like all the eyes and all the mouths. Like just... That's what he is. Makes truth known in court. There we go. Could be using some of that lately, eh? Love it. See, this is the type of stuff I want to see. Oh, so here's another problem. As you can tell, we've had very different artists translate each of these angels. Another ring angel. Love it. Here's this guy. So I think it would have been better to have kind of one artist. Maybe use a bit more color. So that way you don't have to read so much. I like decks that I can just get out and they just look different. Fertility. I do like that the angel's name meaning is right there. Neat. Sorry, all of my cards are sticking together. It's making me a little upset. Celia. Lift up those who are fallen and humiliated. Ariel's supposed to be a warrior, from what I remember. Nail. Here we go. Thale. God, King of Heaven. Rejuvenation. The dashes of red are kind of nice. I like that. There needs to be a little bit of interest in your... Vivifying God. So this deck has really made me kind of face it head on. There's been some deaths in my family lately, and it's been several years since I even stepped foot in a church, and I had to go back to my hometown and be in these old churches that I used to be in. And let me tell you, as a witch, walking into a church after, an age not being in one at all is a very odd feeling. If you've ever been at your school at night when nobody else is there, or like that feeling of being in a liminal space, it was like a very unreal feeling for me. Oh. I'm pretty sure that this deck tells us which ones the archangels are. If it doesn't on the card, it must be in the book. I opened it once, I looked through, and then my father became sick and shortly passed away. I was just in December. It's just like 6 months after, and I'm a personal support worker. I help with palliative care sometimes, and it's a job that means a lot to me, but it's difficult sometimes. So I was with them as they died, and then my grandmother passed, and I had to go back to the old churches again, and and this was after what's his name, Greg Locke, had his witch hunt there, and realistically I'm fine and safe, like nobody's gonna do anything, but it is just kind of an odd time in history, isn't it? Nail, look at that. I kind of wish these angels were more I don't believe that non-binary, like I'm non-binary in a lot of ways, like femme, but angels aren't supposed to have gender, and while I do believe that when they come to visit us, they may take a form that we would relate to. Like for me, it would probably be a woman, and if it was a guy, it would be a young, maybe small fella, because big men can be frightening. No offense. Quickly forgiving God. God above all names, elevated. God, the end of the universe. Look at that. Endings and rebirth. Yes. Okay, so I read this first, and then I was like thinking, I hope this is the death card, and there it is. See, look at this. Like, no offense to this artist. I know I'm going to hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry, but like it doesn't match. Look at that. See, this would have been a great strength card, because strength is always with a lion, Now what is... Oh, it's like a dragon. Perseverance. The Chariot. So Michael's an archangel. And yeah, it must be in the book that it says which ones are what. Metatron. Now he's known as the voice of God sometimes. He records and stuff. Gabriel, he's believed to be the angel that told Mary that she was going to have a child, whether she liked it or not. But he's also kind of known as a more... I've always thought of him as a more effeminate, not because he delivers news of birth, but like the fact that she seemed to deal well with him. I don't know. Like I just get a gentle energy from this angel. See, this would be a great... Oh, it is the Lovers. There we go. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Look at this. That is gorgeous. The severity of God, Samael. This is supposed to be Satan's original name. Sorry, I have to... Seduction and downfall, communicates with the dead. Oh, I love it. There's his. See, One of these things are not like the others. So Uriel, the Fool. So this would be another seraphim because they cover their face. They, even though all they do is worship God, this is so sad to me. Now, most people believe that the seraphim are the highest, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the highest ranking angel. And I truly believe that that was something that humans decided. Although it's a little sad because all they do, literally their entire existence, is flying around God and worshiping Him. And even when I was a Christian, that seemed like that's pretty, like, intense. Like, what a way to spend eternity, you know? And then, of course, when we die, we're believed to just go up and worship God, too, because I guess those million angels just worshiping Him all the time is not enough. Okay, so let's get this book back out. I know I've kept you guys here for quite a bit. Like, look. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so Grand Pentacle of Solomon. So yes, summoning and releasing using the Angel Invoking Tarot. And then it has the page numbers of the archangels here. And then it has like a little thing of every single angel, so that way you can just quickly go find them. And see, like, I just had to... Now, there we go. Exactly the page I wanted. So it has evocations. And make sure you dismiss them because it wouldn't be fair to keep them trapped. See, this is gorgeous. And then just some on how to use it. Okay. Now we wanted to know. So it just has like pentacles, I guess. But it doesn't really say the angel's office and abilities. That's their summoning sigil. And the astrological meaning of the card and the angel. Okay. So there we go. Very neat, eh? So that is the Angel Tarot by Travis McHenry. Very gorgeous. Like, look. I swear, I bought this deck in part just because of this. So I plan on using this deck. I got rid of most of my Bibles. But I did keep one. I kept my study Bible I had. I plan on using this deck in conjunction with that, with my Bible, and doing some reads maybe with a more gentle deck, probably my Ethereal Visions. I really want to face my religious trauma head on and get to a place where I'm not pretending like I'm comfortable when people are going on about their religious beliefs. It's specifically Christian that I'm struggling with, just to be clear. And it's not like they can't talk to me about it, but like there's a part of me that's uncomfortable, sad, probably still a little bit grieving that it's not, like, I'm glad because, I don't believe Christianity is healthy. I think it's actually very toxic. It's homophobic. It's sexist. You can, if you have a belief, you can find a verse to support that belief, whether it's a good belief or not. Just because it's 66 books. So you're going to get, Okay, so we usually shuffle. Yes, it shuffles really nice. Now, as I said, I do not use this as a tarot, so it's not like I've shuffled 2 or 3 times. And this deck does make me a little nervous because while it is gorgeous, you see how the gold it's scratched. Here, maybe on the side. It's just a tiny bit scratched, and I don't want to lose the gold foiling. So I'm reluctant to shuffle, but obviously I need to get these cards out more because the gold helps them stick, I think. For the riffle shuffle, this channel on its own is going to help me learn how to riffle shuffle appropriately, because I don't... Now what did I do here? Why are these backwards? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Now this deck is thicker. Now it is not friendly to riffle shuffle. Okay, so that is the Angel Tarot by Chavris McHenry. I'm still glad that it's part of my collection, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks, guys.